Welcome to the channel today. Today we're going to do a walkthrough of the different containers, fruit trees and things we're growing. A couple of things we're going to be taste testing. Yeah, I didn't tell my wife. This is my wife from Homeschooling Abridged. And first thing we're going to be talking about is the raspberries, because everybody in Texas wants to grow raspberries, and all your main people tell you that raspberries just aren't grown. You can't grow them down here. So I am trying a couple of 4 different varieties. This one here is a Gorman Red, and it's the one that's the first one they say if you have any chance of growing them, it's this one. It's supposed to be, you know, adapted as far as the summertime. The flavor's not supposed to be the best in the world. It's always been a knock on it. This is over here. It's called Mysore, and yeah, it's the thorny one. It's the one we had before, and it'll draw blood. But I'm trying it again. It's both heat sensitive and cold sensitive, so it's, but you know, we have grown it, we have gotten fruit off of it before. The two new ones I have not tried. This one is the Crimson Night, and we also got some beets growing here too. So it's starting to come up and do good. I've got to keep the dogs out of it. They screwed everything up last year. And this here is called Glencoe, and I think it's a purple one. So I do got to get these things, put a trellis up or whatever, and get those staked out. Over here is the dwarf tomato project that I'm doing this year, seeing how they do. I have to do something to cage them up once they get a bit bigger, but I'll deal with that when they get a little bit bigger. Huh?
Future you problem.
Yeah, I try not to look too far in the future. You never know. This here is peach tree. I don't know. I think they all froze off. It's a Tropic Beauty or Tropic Snow, one of the two. They bloom early. We got a freeze. I ran out of room inside the garage, so they left them outside, and I think this froze all the fruit off it. This over here is a loquat, and it's just now starting to ripen. Now, one thing to remember about ripening is loquats will get this color here, and that's not ripe yet. You want to make sure they turn to this orange color. Okay, I'll let you try that one. And I know I had Layla come over and try one. Crud.
A little tart still.
I know that one's gonna be tart. And
That's good.
but I did have pulled a wisdom tooth the other day, so I kind of don't like to open my mouth too big. They do have a lot of seeds in them. One of them, though, I think just get one seed per deal. So you take the seeds out. If you're going to try to plant these from seeds, you want to plant them as they're still wet. You don't want them dry out. If you get seeds through the mail and they're very dried out, you get really low germination on them. And just pop them in your mouth.
Good.
A little tart, but not bad. This one's got a lot of fruit this year, so it's really packing down. This is one that I did take it in and out. Good thing about growing them inside, they put their fruit on early, and it goes through the winter time, and then they make, you know, in March. So after fruit goes below 28 degrees, it's supposed to freeze them. I will say we have made fruits before when it got really cold. I think it hadn't bloomed yet. So sometimes you get later blooms, and they'll make even outside. But this year didn't get much. Over here, got my tomatoes. I've already got my tomatoes planted, so these are just extras. The lettuces, I was gonna put them over here, and the dogs started digging. I was gonna put them in here, and the chickens started getting into them. So we're gonna have some issues with the chickens and stuff, and the dogs. Of course, those over with. Okay, this here is the different citruses that I'm growing. I planted these last fall, and these three. That over there, hey, it's got some fruit on it, looks like, or some bulbs coming up. This is the strawberry guava, and it's got some bulbs on it right here, we just noticed. And this here is the pineapple guava. Now, pineapple guava is pretty cold hardy. It's supposed to go down to 15 degrees. I just set these in the sides when we got really cold because it was easy. So we're gonna be trying those out. I've never had these flavors, so we'll find out if we like them or not. Yeah, I know I need to get them in the ground, but trying to find a place that stuff that ain't gonna tear them up is becoming a problem. The green tea is starting to put out new leaves and starting to grow up. It does like a fair amount of sun, but I don't think it likes really hot sun. But we ain't got anything hot yet. These are my pineapples. It's been kind of a pain in the rear. They take up a lot of room, so that's what I don't like about them. Over here is Barbados. I mean the Cherry of the Rio Grande. I'm not sure it's going to make this year or not, but it did get pretty cold. It is pretty cold hardy because it's sat here for all the freezes we've had, Snowmageddon and freezes this year and last year. Never brought it inside, and it's still alive. So that does say a lot for something that's tropical. These are another tray of tomatoes that I have. These were the trays that if we got a freak freeze that I was going to go with if I had to. This is my backup plan. Well, now I've got to figure out how to do with them. These are some herbs here. Another one of the citrus trees. Rosemaries, it powers through everything just fine. And these are some loquat seedlings from last year that I grew. Small cherry of the Rio Grande here. And this is a, I believe it's Victoria Red, if I remember right. Yeah, Victoria Red, and it's one that will actually survive down here because it's resistant to the Pierce's disease. So it's a table grape, does have seeds. I've grown it once before. I forget why. One of them, we got another one time that they made, and I told my wife, you need to pick them, and then she went out and looked, and about an hour later, she went to pick them all, and then Virgie got to eat every one of them. There's about 5 or 6 clusters of grapes. So if you got grapes, now the muscadines aren't so bad, but
like them a lot.
Yeah, and like I say, I hit every one of them. Birds are very wasteful. And that's one thing, whenever you start gardening, you get to where you really hate wildlife because they're always trying to steal your fruit. Because I know I was reading a deal about, people like to do things naturally and garden naturally. Gardening's not a natural thing. Nowhere else in the world other than gardens do you see this much of a nutrient dense area than where you have your garden. So nature tries to work against you in that way. Going to bring in all the pests, going to bring in all the wildlife, bring in the dog, he'll eat stuff they ain't supposed to eat. We're going to have to do something with them with the blueberries because they like blueberries, so they tear up the trees trying to get the blueberries. And this here is the pomelo tree, and it's really putting out a lot of blooms this year and looking really good this year. They haven't looked as good in years past, but this year they're really coming up doing their own thing. This is a longan tree, which is a lot like your what's this one? Lychee tree. It's a cousin of the lychee tree. It don't look real good this year, but it has put our fruit in last. This was one I was going to grow on the lychee tree, and it looks like it's just now starting to get some blooms on it. So it's doing okay. And I got another type of lychee that's going to cross-pollinate them. So this one puts out a lot of blooms and didn't sell a lot of fruit. So I think that was the problem. Over here we got another pomelo, Chandler. This here is the this is the lemonade tree, Jiu-Jitsu. And this one we're going to try here. This is the Valencia orange. It's the only one that I left on here, and I got tired of waiting. This is the other thing we're trying.
Okay.
So, and it don't look like it's quite right.
Fairly thick skin. Lovely.
Ooh. My hands are pretty clean.
You don't like oranges. fan of it. Mm-mm. I didn't think so.
Actually better than Neighbor 33 this year. It didn't taste very good.
Mm.
It's not real sweet,
Mm-mm.
but anyway.
It was underripe.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it's already March. I mean, it's March 22nd. You think they'd be ripe by now. These are onions I got growing in the grow bags, so they're doing all right. This here, I believe, is the, I put these in 5-gallon buckets so we see how they do. I do need to get them probably somewhere propped up on a fence or something, so they won't be hanging down because none of the chickens or the dogs or something eat them otherwise. These are already, that's the flowers on them. And this is Ponca. It is a very sweet one. I've got them growing in the ground. They're doing really good there. But I'm just saying, would they grow good in a 5-gallon bucket? I mean, you got a lot of plant. I still don't know if it's worth putting in a 5-gallon bucket. I'd rather put them in the bigger bucket here. I think they'd do better. But we're gonna see. And like I say, I've just got to, may put them up along the fence or something. And then the other one, okay, I got them backwards. This one here is gonna be the Ponca. That there's the Primark Freedom, because the Ponca is slower to bloom, so it hadn't put out any blooms yet, and it's not quite as sprawling as the other one is, the Primark Freedom. And then here's the other lychee tree that's not as old. It's a little bit further along on its bloom, so it's going to start blooming out pretty soon. And like I say, this is probably the size you're going to need to have for these. They need a bigger size pot. These are probably 35, 50 gallon. They're lick tubs for cattle, but you know, you do need the bigger size on them. The other low quat trees over here, and I don't think any of them are ready yet. He has a couple of early ones, and the rest of them are kind of hidden back in there. This is a bigger one. I think it's Champagne, that's the name for it. But then it's got the smaller ones here, but I think these were bloomed later. So, but again, we put that in the garage so it wouldn't freeze when we had really cold weather. This here's one of the mandarins, the pumpkin mandarin. It's got some blooms on it, starting to grow. It's putting out a flush of growth, which is always good to see. Here's some that's a little bit further along, because they'll put out probably, they say whenever especially Myers lemon, when they bloom out, you get about 90% of the blooms are going to fall off, or the fruit's going to fall off. You only get about 10%, but that's plenty. They put on way more than they'd ever do. This one just popped up somewhere.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't remember that.
But it's a sunshine blue, or sunshine is what they call it, and I'm assuming it's sunshine blue. HEB. I was pushing a basket and it fell in there.
Wow, I'm surprised it didn't tumble out while it was doing that and got broken.
It didn't. Look at all the fruit you got on it though. Well, it's expensive, but you got to get it right then. And this here's the loquat tree. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. And then here's the Meyer lemon, and it's in bad potting mix, and it's still going on. The only thing on the Myers, when you get them in these pots like this, they do fine outside. When you start putting them inside, they become a diva. You turn them to, every time you turn them or change the light, they start losing leaves. And they're just like that. All the people up north have said that in different garden forums. They're one of the harder citruses to grow inside. Outside, they're easy. But inside, they're if you've had trouble, you're not the only one. So I don't think that you can't garden because you can't keep them alive. Yeah, they like this stuff. There's another, that's a rabbit eye blueberry over there, Climax or one like that. Well, it's got the tag on it. No, I've had it for a while. Premier. Here's the different.
It's orange and chocolate mint.
Yeah.
Chocolate mint's the furthest one, the darker one. And creeping.
They're the stuff that doesn't get harvested very often.
And
Have you harvested any this year?
not since January, no.
They're ready?
No,
You could, this right here.
that's not enough to do anything.
So
Maybe
you
one
the
cup.
plants, you can hold
Yeah. And my creeping thyme.
See how often it gets harvested?
Ah, shut up.
And then you got the oregano over here.
Yes, I do.
And she will occasionally do it. And then you got the Okinawa spinach. It's just now starting to come back. Like I say, I've had this for a long time. First time I didn't think it's going to come back, and it did. And every year since then, it starts out slow. I mean, this is already March 20th, and it's just not coming out, but it loves the heat. So in the heat, yeah, you might be fun. I'm going to come out and cut all this stuff out and pretty it up some. I'm supposed to do this for the video, but oh well. Busy day. I will say the fruit, now this is the second year for this fruit. I put it in the ground a year from last fall. And they're putting out a flush stuff. Now this one here it's been blowing around, so I need to kind of firm it up a little bit. But all these are really throwing out a lot of flush of growth growing on here. So if I got any kind of freeze coming on at all, which I'm not expecting, we're not supposed to ever get, this stuff is really tender right now. But all these are doing really, really well. I've had people ask what I fertilize with. Usually it's just Miracle-Gro. Occasionally I may put in some ammonium sulfate, which is 2100. And the reason I use that is Miracle-Gro, it's a complete fertilizer. It's cheap. It's really, really available. I'm not even saying it's the best of the synthetics. The problem you get whenever you start putting organics, like compost and stuff in it, it retains a lot of moisture, compost does. And in the wintertime, it retains too much, and that's what I can call root rot. So I do make the 5-1-1 mix, 5 parts pine bark mulch, 1 part perlite, 1 part peat moss, and that allows these things to be able to grow. But when you use that with 5-1-1, there's nothing really in there that's going to fertilize your plants. So that's why you have to use a complete fertilizer. Again, to me, organics just do not work well in a pot. There's nothing natural at all about a pot, nothing natural about that medium. Some people like to go all natural with it, but I mean, they don't get this kind of growth either. So, and it's a choice. I mean, it's your garden. If you want to go all organic, go all organic. Never going to condemn anybody for doing what they want to do, but though some people do not like how I do it. This here's a hibiscus, and it's doing pretty good. It did get a little bit dry because I put it in this big bucket. It's from, probably about this big. When you get them that big, they'll dry out in the middle, even though you got water on the side. So it hasn't really pushed out its roots really well. But I watered this today, and it really perked right back up. So no problems there. Now over here, this thing's actually blooming this year. This is the Trilite. Let me get the name of it. Trilite Peach Plum Cross. And it's one that's very sweet. It makes pretty small ones. It has not done worth a flip though. I've only got 3 or 4 fruits off it, but it did bloom later. So I got past all the cold weather, got past all the freezes. It stayed dormant when it's supposed to stay dormant. Right now it's not even, it's just now starting to push out some leaves. So that's a good thing about it. And that might be why it hadn't made in the past, though we got good winters in the past too. Hopefully this year it'll do well, because I'm really getting tired of it. I've had this thing for 4 or 5 years. This one is Roddenberry. It's one that comes back. You can actually plant the seeds and it comes back, from the seeds. The only problem with it is really late blooming. I mean, we're late ripening, and the squirrels usually get all the fruit. And by then also it starts getting damaged by the different funguses and stuff like that, brown rot. But, it's not necessarily the fault of it. I just need to do a better job of keeping the stupid squirrels away. This here's the Flat Wonder peach tree. I thought we should get some peaches off it, but I'm not seeing. Well, yeah, we got some. Can you focus in on that one? And they're the little flat peaches. They do not get very big. I don't particularly like the flavor of them, but my son does, so we say it's his. And it does get the brown rot really bad, but it just makes these little round donuts, peaches about like that. And so I do that for him. This one here is Tropic Snow or Tropic Beauty, one of the two. And I don't think it has any fruit on it, but this one does. Not very much, but it does have a peach. And see how big the peach is? Because it bloomed real early, like in January, and we got all our cold temperatures, or might have been February. And
Yeah, there's another one.
yeah, so it just didn't produce a whole lot. Now, one thing I want to say, since we're over here, but we'll come back. But this, sorry, got a fig on it.
I got several figs on it.
Yeah. This is the Strawberry Verde fig. And we've had a lot of damage on figs this year because we got down really cold for whatever reason. And a lot of these figs, even the ones that had in the ground, died back to the ground. Some of them, the pots have died. But this one went right through it and didn't cause any problems. So, but we did get down like 13 degrees one time. We got really cold another time. We had the snow. I know on Lazy Dog Farms, he was saying he had a lot of damage, and he thought they didn't get really cold, but they had the snow that stayed on for like a week or two. He said about 7 days. It just seemed like a bad year for freeze damage. This is the pomegranate. The more I find out pomegranate, the more I probably shouldn't have bought these. I got some growing in the ground, and then this one I pulled back and planted it out just because I wanted to see if I can do it. Out there they weren't doing real well, but again, I haven't taken care of them either. Well, yeah, you had the fire, but that wasn't what set them back. I burned off the garden last year, and it just knocked them back a little bit. Some things respond well to fire, and we'll see about that. They don't like the humidity, and that day the humidity was low. When you're out burning, you always want to look up. If it's clear, if there ain't any clouds in the sky, it's probably lower humidity, so you got to be careful. There's no way the fire could get away from me, but it did get up to that side pretty quick. This here is the pink lemonade. It's still blooming, doing well. This here's the sweet crisp. That's why I got to get the dogs out of here, because they'll jump up in the middle of this bush trying to find them. But they do have, it didn't set a whole lot of fruit this year, but that could be a good thing, because a lot of times I don't thin the fruit because just too lazy. But the fruit will be sweeter and taste better and be bigger if you do thin them. So nature kind of thinned them this year because they bloomed out. We got the cold weather, it knocked those blooms back. It had to bloom again, which normally fruit bushes don't do that, but it seemed like blueberries would kind of bloom a little bit, even if you get hard, if it's not too late in the year. This is called Snow Chaser. This one I actually transplanted it in this pot, and it has never really taken off from that pot. Looks good right now. The leaves look good, so you figure the pH is okay on them. This is another sweet crisp here. Am I already getting worms? That may just be a spider. And like I say, you see a little bit of fruit, and it's still blooming some too, so yeah, that's nice. And the sweet crisp is one that doesn't, I mean, it just kind of grows up in a mass. It's probably the best tasting of the southern blueberries, because that's a southern high bush. But it doesn't, it's a medium, producer. So the growing people didn't like it because it didn't produce as well. But as far as taste wise, it's got the best texture and it got really good taste. These are my figs, such as they are. A lot of them have died. I think those 3 over there are dead. I waited a little bit longer for them. This one looked like it was dead, then it started pushing out some leaves. I thought this one was dead, and it started pushing out leaves. I thought that one was dead, and it ain't pushed out nothing. But I thought this one was dead, and it ain't pushing out nothing either. That's moss. The yellowneck. I kind of gave up on that, but this one looked dead too. But look, down there in the bottom, it is pushing up some growth. So, don't give up too soon, because like I say, this one to me looked dead, the whole thing. It's actually got something that's live over here. So, which one is this one? LSU Black. So, this one, it don't look good. That one looks worse. But this one doesn't look good either, but you got stuff coming out here. So, and this is Papa John's, and it blew right through it, no problems. It's putting buds all over. So it did good, and it's one of the better flavored ones that we have. My eldest son loves this one. It's been one of his favorite figs. It's got the kind of strawberry flavor to it. And then, like I say, this one here looks really bad, but then you got, you know, and sometimes, I mean, this one here, I thought it was dead. I thought about pulling it up, but look right down there. It's got something coming up on it, so we'll see. And this one was the JH Adriatic, which I was really wanting it to do okay. And then there's your two roses you didn't think was going to do anything. Do you remember their names?
No.
I don't either.
I'm doing good to remember my own name.
I thought I left the tags in there, but I don't see
I
them.
don't see anything.
But anyway, these are the ones I bought that was in those plastic bags. And they're supposed to have real good. I went with the ones that had a stronger scent to it. So we'll figure out which ones, you know.
Yeah, when they do. This one's got a bud on it.
This does too.
Oh.
All those are buds.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a Floribunda, and that one's just a regular
Yeah.
tea rose, but hybrid tea. I was going to get into it more than I did, but then I kind of ran out of money. So I thought about having about five or six different ones. I thought about ordering them. And if I order them, I'll probably order through the mail a lot of times, because you'll get more, you learn more about them, and also if you get good companies, the ones that you get through the mail a lot of times will do better than the ones in the pot. And those plastic bags they sell, you know, if you get them when they first come in, they're pretty good. But if you wait, like now, most of those are I mean, they may have growth, but the roots are toast. So, because nobody waters them, you know, no one waters them at all until, you know, once they put them in that bug, tie that deal on, you're the one that's going to water them next. So they might be sitting there for a month, 2 months. And the worst thing that happens is they put them inside the store. Inside the store is low humidity, and also more heat, so they start growing. And when they start growing, they're sucking out all the moisture. So all that together, if you can find them when they first come to the stores, it's okay. But after a couple, 3 weeks, I wouldn't buy them. I think they're just not worth the risk. And they don't ever go down on them hardly. But anything that's in the store right now, especially inside the store, I wouldn't buy. Now, if it's in the, you know, if it's in the container, they're okay. You can buy them now and be fine. But stuff growing inside, I have not had good luck with them. Even if they look like they're growing and doing well, as soon as you take them out of that plastic, they tend to die on you. It's happened to me. But anyway, I also have one other in the ground over here. So I thought this one would be safe. I thought it'd be okay. And it was one I really wanted. That was Malta Black. It's one that's really well thought of. But this don't look good at all. So I'm going to wait to see if anything comes back. But and I planted out early last year. And I thought that'd be fine. I mean, it's supposed to be, you know, fairly winter resistant. But anyway, this one here went through everything. I planted this when we first moved here. I brought it from the old house, stuck it in the ground.
It went through Harvey.
Yeah, he went through Harvey. Was underwater for a week, completely underwater.
Survivor.
I had another one planted over there and it died. But I think it was because of these tree roots. And this one didn't have quite as many tree roots in it. I am having a problem with these big trees getting roots in things, even in the pots. But in the pot, you can just turn them. But anyway, that's the tour for today. Glad you stayed to the end. See you next time.
Bye.